Yeah, you can record. It's a variable speed pump. I just put it in last year because the original pump failed. So it really runs well. It runs at 2,000 RPMs during the day. It'll crank up, and then it'll crank up overnight. So it's programmed. You can change it to whatever you want. But you really, during the day, just need it circulating. But that's why it's really pretty easy. The biggest thing is when you open the pool, which it's been open since May 2nd. So you really shouldn't need to do what's called back flushing. This is the key thing, this pressure gauge. When that pressure gauge gets up, this little black line, when it gets up 20 PSI or greater, you'll want to back flush it.
Okay. How often does that happen?
When you're opening it, it can happen 3 or 4 times over the course of that first month. I haven't back flushed in 2 weeks. The only other thing that can happen is we get some rains. Like we're going to get rains this weekend. That's when the pressure may build up. This is a sand filtration container. They tell me every 5 or 6 years that sand needs to be replaced. We're probably on year 4, is what I was told by Kevin, the former owner. So I've made it real easy on myself.
Yeah.
I pay a little more for this easy pool.
Yeah.
4 scoops once a week, and 2 chlorine tablets in the skimmer.
Okay.
And it's balanced right now. And then every 3 or 4 weeks, you just take in a little jar to Dale and Wendy's. They test it for you. And then occasionally you need some calcium.
Okay.
So, and you buy everything you need from them. But really, 4 scoops once a
4
week.
scoops once a week.
2 of these big tablets, and I'll show you where they go in the skimmer.
Okay.
And so this stuff is left over. I didn't do, like, that's other chemicals that if you wanted to do the full deal, I just needed it easy.
Yep.
So I did easy pool. It's a little bit more pricey.
Take that shit to the shop when you take your sample. Maybe they could use it.
Right.
You're not gonna use it.
The shed is in, the cover's in the canvas.
The canvas bag.
Yeah. And I've never used the hose system because I've got this little Aquabot.
Yeah, that looks pretty
My
cool.
granddaughter named Bobby. So she always like. So this really couldn't be easier. The only thing to really remember is turn the pump off before you move the handle. I replaced this
Pump off,
year.
Then move the handle.
Yeah, so this is new this year.
Yeah.
When they opened it, we had a little bit of a seal. It's got a gasket in there, so I just put a new one on. All right, so pump off, start, stop.
That seems like an easy enough button.
Yeah.
Stop,
and
please.
then go clockwise.
Yeah.
And the only ones I've used are backwash.
Yeah. So you go all the way around.
So you push down, you go clockwise,
put it back in,
and then
turn it
restart.
back on.
Now when you restart, it's going to kick in at like 3,500 RPMs.
Nice and loud.
There's going to be some water shooting out. You might get wet, Pat.
Well, look and see what color it is.
So right here, this little gauge, see this? And that's clear, you're good to go. So if you're back flushing, that's where you're checking. All right?
Pat, watch the water.
So then turn off.
Okay, let it drain.
Yeah. And then what they
It
suggest.
looked pretty clear already.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very clear. Yeah. And then what they suggest is rinsing.
Okay.
So you just, again, clockwise,
Yep.
come to rinse, turn it back on, and you're just rinsing. You're rinsing the system from whatever was back flush, but there wasn't.
Is there a set period of time to rinse, or do you just do it?
I
10
rinse
seconds?
about 10 seconds. The main thing that I didn't really remember is evaporation, and when you're flushing. So I've not added any water yet this year, but you might have to add some water.
Okay.
And that's when your chemical balance can change.
A little off kilter.
So then you just come back to filter,
Always clockwise.
always clockwise. That's, if Dale told me one thing 10 times, he told me go
Always
clockwise. So you
And what is
put it
this?
back on and then start it.
And this is just
Well, so this is the other little basket deal. When you see debris in there, I'll go ahead and open it up so you can tell. We'll switch that out.
The other place you'll have it back here is over there.
Yeah. And back filter.
It would help if I went the right way. You do this with the pump off. I always make sure this is where you'll have leaks, so I just make sure that thing is there. And then I just typically do this I let that dry out.
Replace it with the other one.
That must be Dale's favorite customer because he gave this to me. He gave me a spare one. That's what you get when you spend $2,000 on a variable speed pump. All right, so reset that
Seal it back.
Well, you know, it's so great that this stuff
and
is
then
all
close.
such great shape.
So that's just where it's catching a little bit of debris that might come through that skimmer before, because you really don't want as much as you can. You want to keep stuff out of the sand.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you the one lesson I did learn, because I was so excited last year. I opened the pool March 15th last
That
year.
is exciting.
Too early. It was before pollen.
Oh, baby.
Now I'll swim in really cold water, so that was fine. But last year, it took me 6 weeks to get this thing balanced. I opened May 2nd after pollen. It was a week. I mean, 1 week. It couldn't have been.
Do you think pollen was the only reason it was so much
Pollen
trouble?
was definitely the reason because they have these little socks. I'll show you this. They have these little socks that catch the pollen, and I was changing that sock around 4 times. So you see, every 3 hours, pressure's coming through. Yeah. Now this is running at that 3,500 RPM.
I don't want to fall in.
Automatically programmed to run unless you manually override.
Yeah, you can manually override 1, 2, 3. So if you look at this little dot right here,
Yeah.
like I'll probably, depending on how much rain we get, you want the water level at that dot.
So these right here.
That dot right there.
Yeah.
So I'm either going to add some water. I'm going to see if the rain starts tomorrow. If we get rain, otherwise I'll add some water. This couldn't be any easier. Pull it out. So this
Dump it
little
right there.
this little floating guy is where you put the sock
There you go.
Okay.
if you were using it.
And that is that sock also back in the shed.
I'm out of socks because I didn't need to buy any this year. You just get them. So there's the 2 chlorine tablets.
Yep.
And so you just check this, and you check that pressure gauge. If this has debris, one thing is you want to pull these out because a lot of people pitch them
Nope.
unintentionally.
Still want them.
So,
Dig in there and find them.
yep. And they've got things you can buy to nice little containers, but
Yep. And it floats on top.
yeah,
Helps create the suction.
yep.
You're going to enjoy this pool.
Oh yeah.
And this liner is about 5 years old, is what they told me.
I don't know a lot of the pool liners.
They can run 15 years, is what I'm told, but it's in good shape. Low voltage.
Okay.
The main thing is just this is a pin thing where you just plug in, but it's easiest way. Dale was trying to tell me. You can see there's a marked 1, 2, 3, 4, but see these top pieces? Yep. They just go right here at the top. Yeah. Put it at the top.
Yep.
It's always there.
Check it.
Yeah. So I normally plug that in first.
Plug the pins in first.
I plug the pins in,
Pins in.
and then I'm just going to put Bobby in the water.
Bobby goes in the water, then we come back and plug. Bobby does good work.
I don't know how old this is, but I bought it from them. And he's got 2 filters. From time to time, you pull them out, and that's what he's collected.
Nice. Good work, Bobby.
Good nutrients.
This looks like a good job for Thomas.
First two.
The good thing about a 4-year-old granddaughter is she loves doing
Yeah,
this.
loves it. Thomas and Eloise.
Her hands are,
Okay, so both sides.
yeah, just check them both. And then plug them in. So then, Jason, this light,
Comes on.
and I'll tell you the best
Ready?
part about Bobby is he'll run for about 90 minutes.
Yep.
So when I'm cleaning, I'll leave him in, and you can leave him in all day,
Okay.
and he'll automatically shut off.
Okay.
So I just come and turn him back on, and he rocks and rolls.
Again. Okay.
Really, I just run them in the early part of the season. Like I wouldn't be running them now if I hadn't been selling the house. But it's really clean enough.
You'll see the bottom of the pool to tell you the time you're on.
Yeah, when you see a little bit of dirt, and it's everybody's a little different. You want to keep it clean. And skimmer and brush are